Happy Warrior Georgia Wednesday. Hi, Georgia. I really hope that some men and women from Georgia are coming in the room. What up? I see you guys coming in. Happy Georgia Warrior Wednesday. Come on in. I love to see it. What's going on, you guys? Welcome to another episode of Warrior Wednesday. I'm extra happy today. You know, my family is actually from Georgia. And speaking of, let me know where you are from. Put it in the comments so I can shout you out on this Warrior Wednesday. We're going to be speaking to a Philly girl. And I'm still in Philly. I was supposed to go back to Los Angeles, but those numbers, child. And just God knew to leave me here. But happy Warrior Georgia Wednesday. You know, my family is actually from Georgia. So we are very, very excited today. Mama Stu, who's on Warrior Wednesday Live because I saw her come in here. Mama Stu is from Macon, Georgia, and born and somewhat raised there for her childhood. And so, you know, it's in the blood. So I'm happy. So let me know where you are. Where are you? Somebody's from Georgia, Keisha Shirai, from Georgia, living in South Carolina. What up? Hey, good afternoon, Golden Spirit Heart. I love that, from New York City. Hello, Mama Stu. Yes, you are here. You are in the sunroom. I can kind of hear myself there. And oh, I think I forgot. Hey, Mom. Mom. Can you do me a favor, Mom? Let me see if Mama Stu can do me a favor. I want to make sure I have my ear pods. Macon, Georgia, she says, Lost Scandalous. Come on in here, Mom. I need a favor. I just need you to hand me something. Raleigh, North Carolina. What's going on? Put the phone down for a second. This is funny, but this is true. I love you too, Brandy White. What's going on from Texas? We live in Jersey. Hand me those AirPods right there. The white thing.
On here?
No. By the thing on the counter. It's okay, y'all. This is what happens when we're live. Detroit. What's going on, Brandy White from Detroit? Happy Warrior Wednesday to you. You can just toss it to me, Mama. Yeah. Say hi so they can hear you.
Hi.
Hi, Macon girl.
I'm not camera ready. I'm a Georgia peach, though.
Did y'all hear that? She said she's not camera ready, but she's a Georgia peach. So I'm glad that I actually... So can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Give me a thumbs up so I know I'm ready to go. Okay, cool. I think you guys can hear me. So I'm going to bring on somebody that is amazing. Her name is Miss Nichelle Polston, and she is a fertility warrior. You guys can hear me, right? Okay, good. She's a fertility warrior. She is a friend. She is a journalist. And she is a board member of Resolve, which is the National Infertility Association. If you guys are not familiar with Resolve, I need you to go follow them on @Resolve here on Instagram, or I'll put it in the link after if I have the name wrong in my head, the Instagram handle that is. But Resolve is a great organization. And Nichelle and I actually met via her brother. I taught a class that he was in, and she reached out to me. And then when I found out we were Philly fam, it was on and popping. And from that point on, we shared our fertility stories with you. And she is here today with so much love, so much transparency, and so many tips that are going to change your life. So without any further ado, let me see if I can find my girl on here. Ooh. There was a couple people that wanted to come live. Well, you know what? If you still want to come live, let's see. We can do that one of these days. Hey, y'all that are coming in.
Hey,
Hey!
I guess I'm sideways, right?
You are well, girl, your blog name is Her Normal, so I don't care if you sideways, you still normal to me.
Okay, is this better?
Yes, it's perfect. How are you, beautiful?
How are you?
I'm good. Happy Warrior Wednesday. You're wearing my favorite color. You look absolutely gorgeous.
Listen, I did the quick braid out. I watched a number of YouTube videos for the natural hair, and I did a quick braid out.
I know we talk about this, y'all. I did my hair. It took me about 3 days to do it. I got the hair from Amazon, and I put it in so I could be cute for y'all on Warrior Wednesday. Thank you for being here, friend.
Yes, thank you for having me. I am so happy. Happy New Year to everyone who is on this live. I wish all of you just nothing but good things. So just thank you.
Absolutely. And I just want to get right into it
Okay.
because you and I have talked a lot. We are here to talk about fertility, to talk about our journeys and our truth, and to share with women everywhere and men,
Yes.
because they are warriors too, about the things that they need to know. So, because we have so much to go into with the Her Normal, which is your blog site, with the
Yes.
resolve of it all. She's a journalist, y'all. But
Yes.
before we go into all of those things that you do in this space, because your fertility journey led you to some of them. So,
Yes.
right? So I want to start from the beginning.
Okay, so I can be long-winded, as you already know, because we've been on the calls for like we've been on the phone for maybe sometimes 3 hours.
3 hours.
Yes, yes. So, but I'm long-winded. I wrote a few things, but I want to start off with you shared with everyone that yes, I am a journalist. But I've been married for 11 years, and about 2 or 3 years into the marriage, my husband and I decided that we would try for a child. And it didn't happen right away. So maybe year 3 or 4, we decided to just go seek help and talk to a fertility doctor. And they ran all types of tests, and HSG, if anyone is on the line and can if they know what an HSG is, it's not a pleasant procedure, but I had that and they found nothing.
Now tell
uh,
us what an HSG is.
so basically doctors, what they did was they injected some dye to check to see if my fallopian tubes were blocked,
Right.
if there was
So
any
if
blockage.
there was any blockage for those that don't know, your fallopian tubes are the organ that is the bridge between the uterus and the ovaries, where your egg goes in and the insemination would happen. So the HSG is a dye that they put in there so that they can get a better image of whether or not
Yes.
there's any blockage, because women can have blocked fallopian tubes from many different reasons. So, and somebody said Mystique Makeup says it's rough. Yeah, girl,
It is. It
it's
is.
rough.
It's
Yes.
rough. I cried during it, but it doesn't take much. I'm very sensitive. so so I had this HSG done. I had a number of testing, and my husband as well, and everything turned out fine. They had no idea what was going on, and so I was diagnosed with something called unexplained infertility. And I can tell you that was hard. And it may sound like, oh, well, look, they didn't find anything wrong. But it was hard because I said, well, then what is it? We've been trying for a year or two. Nothing has happened. What can be holding us back? Maybe it's stress, because I'm a bit of a workaholic. And at the time, I was a reporter. And I don't know if you have any friends who are reporters, but your days can be long. And so, long story short, we were told that it would be in our best interest to try an IUI, which is intrauterine insemination. Just a shortcut for the sperm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a turkey baster, if any of you are familiar with a
and
turkey
let's
baster.
and let's go back before we go forward with that, because I just want to make sure that everybody has an understanding of your journey thus far and what you just said, because what you guys need to know, unexplained infertility is a diagnosis. I know some doctors don't even want to use that language, but
Yeah.
what we need to know is 1/3 of infertility cases between a heterosexual couple, someone with ovaries and someone with a penis, 1/3 is female factor infertility, 1/3 is male factor infertility, and 1/3 is a combination
Of
of
both.
both.
Honey, are you on the board too? Because
Hey, listen, but
we can tell you've been talking to Dr.
I've been
Cindy
talking
Duke
to
now.
Dr. Cindy Duke all the time, but because women often bear the shame or suffer
Yes.
in silence when pregnancy is not happening after they've tried, because you said you tried 2 years after you were married. You were about 33 years old when you started doing the thing with your husband to have a baby. And
Yeah.
so after that, and I just want people to know, because it's not, it's one third, a combination of
And
one
then
third.
10% of maybe just unexplained. They don't know what's going on. So
And
yeah,
so when you had your testing and your husband had his testing, so just let us know, he basically had a semen analysis. Would
and
that be
that's,
accurate?
yes, he did. Yes, he
Okay.
did.
And so what you guys need to know is they will check the semen. If there's good swimmers, sometimes in an ejaculation, they may not swim. Sometimes they tread water. They're not really going anywhere. So
Yeah.
one of the things that we want our audience to know, and I'm sure you can attest to this with Resolve as well, is that getting a semen analysis is probably the first thing to do if it's a couple that's trying to conceive that's heterosexual, because it's the cheapest and the less invasive of the
Yes.
tests, to start there. Okay, so keep going. So your doctor says
Yeah.
IUI.
Yeah, they said try for an IUI.
Mhm.
And I think what set me off is my doctor at the time, and this is a doctor I choose not to name, but this doctor is in Philadelphia, said, oh, there's no problem. I don't see anything. I'm going to suggest, not suggest, I think, and I can almost bet that you'll be pregnant by August 2014. So everything else this woman said, it just went in one ear and out the other. I was just excited, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be pregnant by August 2014. I'm going to start looking for baby clothes, picking out, I went on and had a registry. I didn't literally go, but I just would look at things that I would pick for my nursery, because I was just so excited that, yeah, first IUI, it didn't work. The doctor said, no worries. Second, it did not work. The third, I didn't even think about it, because I said, it doesn't matter. Well, not it doesn't matter. This one is going to work. Third time will be a charm. And I want to share this part because I want to lead into the cramping. The day that I think, and I'm just trying to play it off in my mind, I think it's 19 days they wanted me to wait after this IUI sometime. And I remember experiencing cramping. I was at my friend's daughter's christening, and I said, oh, these cramps. I wasn't bothered by them. I was like, I think I'm pregnant. That's all I kept thinking. Like, I
Right.
just feel cramping, and they feel so good. And then later that evening, I went to my husband's cousin's house. He picked me up from this christening. We went to his cousin's house, and the cramps got worse. But I wasn't thinking. I just, in my mind, August 2014, I would be pregnant. I felt the cramping. I just knew that was it. By the time we got home that evening, my menstrual cycle came on. And then that's when I just fell out crying. And
Ooh.
yes,
Because
yes,
all of this build up, this was the third time as a try IUI. And for
yes.
those of you that may not be familiar, as Nichelle said, it's an intrauterine insemination. And it basically, because one thing I think that we can share, it is a very less expensive form of assisted reproduction than IVF. So just give us an idea about how it works, because for instance, did you have to inject IVF medication, the
Oh, excuse me.
hormones
I hope you guys didn't
into?
hear that. Did you hear that? I
If
burped.
we did, it's fine. If we did, it's fine. But just so that those that may have no understanding yet of an IUI, did you have to go through the injections, for instance, like I did for freezing eggs?
No injections. It was just like going to the GYN. I remember just going into the doctors, and they just had me lay on the table. And like I mentioned, a turkey baster. They injected the sperm in. In fact, my doctor was really kind at the time. She put a and I see a doctor on the line right now, but
Hey, doctor.
they put something on my stomach so that I can see. It was like it was the ultrasound, so I can check,
Oh,
so that I can see them injecting the sperm, and I can kind of see everything. And yeah, it was a simple procedure. It
it's a
was,
simple procedure. They're using a catheter, correct? So it's like
yes,
a catheter to
yes,
inject it. And for those that don't know, when they take the sperm, because there's washed sperm there's unwashed sperm.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't know that. So washed sperm is when you're separating the actual sperm from the seminal fluid, like from the actual fluid. So you guys, there's all of these beautiful ways that these doctors are able to assist in getting those best swimmers to those best eggs. And this is all happening without the medication. So now we're at the third time, we're cramping, we think,
yes,
I'm pregnant. And then we go home and our body tells us we are not pregnant, and the tears come.
Yes. And I must
How
say,
did you feel?
I need to get this out. I see some friends.
Please.
Hi, Anitra. I see my friend Joanne, people hopping in, and I appreciate your support. I am not the one who often share. I'm on the other side, right? And as a journalist, I'm used to asking the questions. It can be.
Oh, I love you, friend.
It could be a bit difficult sometimes when I'm talking about this, because I'm used to being the other one on the other side. And I see a few friends, my friend Andrea, she's on the line. So I'm so happy that, and I said I wasn't going to cry, honestly. I said I wasn't going to cry.
Ooh, child. I got a tissue too. You're not alone.
But
your friend Nikki says she's there with you.
This is a very difficult subject for me to talk about. And I often smile. My smile is huge because I make my smile huge so I can just hide the pain that I go through when it comes to talking about a child. And being 41, by the way, everyone, 41, don't have any children. And so you can only imagine some of the questions I get from people. People can be, I don't want to say mean, but very insensitive when they ask you, oh, you're 40, you don't have any kids, what's wrong with you? And so I can tell you, when I had the IUI done, the third one, and I found out that I wasn't pregnant, I went searching fast. And I looked for some organizations, and I want my story to be not a sad one, because it's not sad. I honestly wouldn't change this journey for the world. It connected me to a lot of people. But I will say, if any of you take home anything, it would be hope. And I'm really big on advocacy and therapy, because this has put me in some. This has connected me with a very awesome therapist. And so, yes, I had this IUI, and I did not conceive.
I want you to pause for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I want you to pause for a moment, my dear friend Nichelle, is because I want you to know that, because you are about to go in, bless us with more information.
Yeah.
As you said, you're used to being on the other side of the interview. Mm-hmm. I want you to know how honored I am.
Yes.
How honored I know that everybody that's watching is, that you just opened this up and let it out. And you guys, I want you to give her hearts right now. I want you to give her hearts, because the one thing I want you to know is, just like your blog says, mm-hmm. You're normal.
Yes.
Her normal. And one of the things that we need to do when we give out is receive. Mm-hmm. And here come the hearts. That's what I love. Here come the hearts. I want you to know that the tears you just shed mm-hmm. are not in vain, and that mm-hmm. the love that is coming towards your way, before you come to give us more information, before you look down one more time, look at these hearts. And know that you've blessed us. And now, with all of these people on this live and those that will see it later, you have that many more prayer warriors mm-hmm. on your side and in your story.
Yes. Yeah.
So
And it's
thank
so
you.
funny because I said I will not cry. When I say I cried this morning, well, you heard when I was on the phone with you, I teared up. And it could be, I am on my cycle, everyone. Disclaimer. So
Amen.
I
Amen.
am emotional, hormones all over the place. But yes. So I'm sorry.
Crying is good because the tears water the seeds that will grow.
Mm-hmm.
And until you let this out, until you water these seeds, this is still, see, y'all, what y'all have to realize is this conversation is part of the journey. It is part of Nichelle's journey, even getting to the place to take off her job hat and be on the other side of the interview, because what y'all don't know is Nichelle and I first met with her interviewing me.
Yes.
I was the person that she was interviewing. And at the time, I remember you asked me a question. You said, well, how do you give encouragement and this and all the time? And I said, girl, sometimes I don't feel like it. I don't feel like waking up and telling y'all gonna have a baby. I don't feel like waking up and being like, we're so strong, woman warrior. Some days I want to lay in my bed and cry myself to sleep because it's just not that good of a day.
Yes.
And some days we are brave enough to do what you just did. And that is your freedom paper. And you just freed somebody else on here. So
thank you.
now
Thank
that
you.
we're,
And thank
now
you
that
to
I,
everyone.
you know, I have to do that. Yes. And
Yes.
all the heart. So continue. So IUI doesn't work. Now we're here. And what's next?
What's next is I honestly just became depressed. I was sad all the time. And that year, I want to say I was invited to 6 baby showers. And it was killing me inside because I felt like I have to be the good person. I have to be the good friend. I have to show up. And so I would do that all the time. But then this one day I said, no, you can't. This is not good. This is not good for your mental health. And I looked for just someone to talk to, and I stumbled upon Resolve, the National Infertility Association, and I became a support group leader. You would have thought that I would have just went to air out
Into the support group.
But I just found myself becoming the support group leader, and I met some wonderful women. And I also would, and I don't want to jump ahead, but so I joined Resolve. I learned about a number of groups out there, a number of women I met who were really suffering in silence. And so I connected with these women, but I also decided to create a platform, and it was therapy, but it started off as a joke. And the joke was, I had a friend, she would, not had, but I still have this friend. She would call me all the time, middle of the night, and she would complain about her single status. Like, oh, I'm so single. I just need to get married, and I would love to just get a ring on my finger. And I would listen every night until one day I just broke down and said, listen, I'm going through some things. I'm trying to get pregnant, and it hasn't happened. Mm-hmm. And she says, oh, I had no idea. I said, yeah, I don't talk about it. And so I woke up on the wrong side of the bed one day, and I called her and I said, honey, I just received another invite to a baby shower. She said, girl, I received an invite to another wedding. And so we said, we should write a book called Give Me a Ring and a Baby. So I started the site, and I started writing about just being in my mid-30s at the time, trying for a child and going through all types of emotions, being questioned by people. And as I mentioned earlier, I always used to asking the tough questions. But my journey allowed me to really see and really take notice to what questions are appropriate and what questions are not appropriate. Like sometimes you just think, hey, I'm just having a conversation with someone. Are you married? Do you have any children? But those are sometimes questions that we should kind of scale back on.
Yeah, because this is one of the things we need to know is that they can become trigger questions. And the other person that might be asking it may be completely well-meaning, have no idea, and they don't necessarily need to know, what's going on, but it can be a trigger question. And I think that one of the things that we can do for ourselves, because we can't stop a total, well-meaning stranger from saying, do you have children? They may not know that that's a trigger. Are you married? They may not know that that's a trigger. Is that we have to know what ear to hear that with. Do we hear it with the ear in our pain, or do we hear it with the ear of spirit, continuously confirming and telling us that one day the answer to that question is going to be yes? Or do we change the answer? And do we affirm ourselves in our answer? Because here's the thing. People ask me all the time, do you have a child? And I said, yes. I used to say no. Do I have a child? No. That would be the trigger. Then I changed the answer. Do you have a child? I said, yes. I have 29 of them, and they are frozen in El Segundo.
I love it.
And once I changed my answer, once I affirmed what will be in my future, number one, the conversation changed, but I changed.
Yeah.
So now the question wasn't a weapon, but the question was an opportunity for me to affirm what I want and what's coming my way. Because we have to know how to hear it and then how to respond to it.
And so I'm glad you brought that up, because I have two friends, one, she may be online, who helped change my mindset. So I found resolve. And at the time I was just a support group leader. And I found the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, and which is a wonderful organization where I was the committee health chair for some years. And I would advocate for women's health in the state of Delaware. And so this one friend I called to complain to, and I said, oh, I'm just so tired. I just don't understand why this is my journey. And I'm still going through that season where it's why me? I'm so good. Why me? Right? I would make a great mother. Why me? And she says, wait a minute. Do you want to be a mother, or do you want to be pregnant?
Oh.
And I looked at the phone and I said, ugh, I don't know. Do you want to be my friend?
Right. Because
So,
it feels because sometimes when the truth comes to us and we're not quite ready to receive it, it can almost feel a little bit, uncomfortable. But when you read it again.
Yes. It helped me. But that was just one friend who spoke life, or just made me think. Another friend said on Mother's Day, she just called and she says, Happy Mother's Day. And I immediately, I get upset. I'm like, well, I'm not a mother. Why would you say that? And she said, as you celebrate your mother, God will bless you with moments to nurture children, to nurture just people who don't get the love that they should be getting maybe at home. And immediately again, I didn't think about it until I had to let it, I had to really allow it to just sink in.
Yeah.
And I gave it some thought, and I said, she's right. I am a mother. I'm not a mother in terms of the way the world sees. Society paints us as Black women to be super fertile, and it's almost believed that you're only a mother if you birth a child naturally. But that one friend sold into me, and she poured into me, and she spoke life into me just by saying Happy Mother's Day. Now, I will admit, it's been a journey. I didn't just heal right away, but those were little seeds that were planted during my journey to allow me to change my mindset and to really pray to God for a renewed spirit, because I was not looking at the bright side. I was always looking at the negative, for lack of better words.
And then we flip it, because even the tears that you just cried earlier are watering the seeds because you
Yeah.
just paid that forward to us.
Mm-hmm.
So those two, those calls and those messages to you, do you want to be a mother? Do you want to be pregnant? Or happy Mother's Day, because one day you will be nurturing. You guys, I need you to give her more hearts, because what you are doing right now, Nichelle, is mothering, is nurturing us. This is what Mama Stu does every day. Tells me an experience of her life to affirm and remind me of what's to come, to give me a hug of a little bit of knowledge or a little bit of hope. And that's what sharing those, that's what that does for us. So we appreciate that. We appreciate that.
I appreciate you. I really do. And so, yeah, I would have people in my life who knew, and they know that I'm not the one to just open up and share. And it's funny because as a journalist, that's what you want people to do. You want them to open up and you want, tell me your business. Meanwhile, I'm like, mum's the word.
Right.
But I will tell you my story, my experience in that time, mid-30s, led me to a number of different groups, led me to advocacy, led me to a website where I get to share. And I also it led me to really standing in my truth. And it's funny, you and we did get a chance to talk yesterday. And you said, hey, what can I ask you? What can we talk about? And I said, well, we can talk about this. Don't ask me that. We can talk about this. And I realized I was picking and choosing what I wanted to share. And I can tell you, I was reminded that the reason why I love groups like Resolve and the National Coalition and even the website Her Normal, I love telling people to stand in my truth, and I stand in your truth. But I realized, Nichelle, you're not really standing in your truth yourself. While I started to cite to encourage and empower people, the one thing I never shared with some of my friends is that, yes, a baby is still on my mind. I still get those invites to baby showers.
It's okay, sis.
So I still get those invites to baby showers. Oh my gosh, that's an ugly cry. I'm looking at myself on camera.
It's a beautiful cry. This is what is so amazing. The amount of hearts, and we are with you, sis, and we are encouraged, and you're not alone, that are scrolling through here. And I just wanted to give you the room to breathe in this moment, to heal in this moment.
And so I decided this morning, after talking to a few friends, that no, I'm not going to hold back. I still think about a child. And in fact, I'm going to reach over and pull this blanket. This blanket, you probably, my ring light is kind of bright, but if you can see it, it's a baby blanket.
Yes. I love this story. Mm-hmm.
And I had a friend who's pregnant, and they were having a baby shower. And my mother said, oh, I brought this blanket. You can give them this. And I thought about it. I said, no, I'm going to just buy them what I want to give them. And I kept the blanket. And I put the blanket in my closet so that I can, every time I would open my closet, to find something different to wear. And yes, I know it's COVID and many of us are in the house. But I still like to change and dress up. Good. And so I open my closet and I see this blanket and I just smell it and I just think about having that as the first gift for my child. And I say my child because my husband and I started, and this will lead into the fibroids. My husband and I started IVF treatments, I think in November of last year. But we had to stop. And it's only because they found some fibroids, and the fibroids are huge. I just thought I had a little belly fat, honestly. But there's one is 7 centimeters in the cervix. And we had to stop. And so I remember going to my closet and looking at my blanket and saying, what do I do with it? Should I keep it? But then I just, and I'm a spiritual person, and I don't even mean spiritual. I'm a believer in Jesus Christ.
Amen.
I can't
Amen.
say spiritual. I believe, like, when I tell you I had to really pray and claim this child that I have not met, that I had to pray and say, no matter what the world is showing me, what people are telling me, I am going to focus on my Lord, because there has been so much divine intervention throughout my entire life that I can even write a book and go on for, hours, and I'm sure many of us can. But we started an IVF. We started IVF treatment, and it just had to stop because of these fibroids that I have. And I want to even back up a little. In 2014, I was made aware of fibroids, but I was told it was still unexplained infertility. You're fine. These fibroids are 3 little fibroids. They're only the size of a lentil. And I don't know if any of you are familiar with lentils. They're really tiny. Mm-hmm. Yes. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. And then I go last month in December, and they tell me, your fibroids are huge. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, really? And they're like, yes, you have 4 of them. And we're going to have you go through a surgery. So actually, I'm going to go to a doctor next week, and hopefully I can get that scheduled soon, because I know that there is a recovery period. But I want to bring up these fibroids for a number of reasons. I grew up with very, very bad cramps. I wasn't diagnosed with endometriosis or PCOS, and so I thought it was normal. And so much so that it was common for me to walk around with a bag that always had, and one of my old coworkers, she may be on the line, I carry a heating pad. I have it on the back.
Oh, yes.
And I'm sitting on one. I always like to sit on these heating pads when it's that time, because I get really, really bad cramping.
And I just want to pause there, because it's really, really important, because I know you're going to, first of all, all things.
Yeah.
I love you, and I'm overjoyed with your spirit and your transparency, because like Nichelle said, y'all, we talked, and I call everybody that's on Warrior Wednesday and ask them what they're comfortable discussing, because one of the things that I say here is that you can't let anybody else speak into your fertility in a way that you're not comfortable with. Yeah. The same way that I need to protect my spirit, I need to be a source of protecting other spirits. And I just have to say, wow, to you and to who you are, because we talked.
Yes.
And you're doing it.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is, just for the audience that may not know or joining, what fibroids are. And there's one more thing, because I hope she's still here, but I saw my Auntie Grace, when you were talking, said, it's coming soon. It's coming soon, sis. My Auntie Grace is a very, very special praying woman. Yes. And I know her well enough to know that you got a prayer coming your way tonight. So when you said, I'm not spiritual, I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and yes, I honor that, just so you know, you got some prayers coming your way. But let's go back to the fibroids, because I think it's really important when you say you used to have really, really bad cramps. So for those that don't know, fibroids are cysts, basically, with tissues and some muscle, and they are benign. They are not cancerous, but they can be attached to or inside the cavity of the womb and cause infertility problems. They also cause heavy bleeding, exhaustion, hair loss, and heavy cramping, like she said. And the reason that I wanted to just stop and just make sure everybody knew what page we were on before you continue is that something you said was very important. You always had bad periods, bad cramps. And oftentimes we just kind of toss that aside and we say, oh, that's just your period, especially to young girls that are 11, 12 years old that are having bad cramps, that are bleeding heavy. Girl, that's just your period. You guys, I cannot say it enough. And Nichelle will tell you a story that will really kind of bring this to light, that that is a symptom of something else going on. Even as young as 12, 13 years old, there are many underlying conditions that can happen with a woman. And one of the things you need to know is that periods should be, a little crampy. They should have a certain amount of days that always makes sense to you, but you should not be bent over, heeled over, can't walk, bleeding heavily to the point that, and we'll talk about this, that you had to, as Lynn said on the last live, bring what she called a diaper bag with her. Those are indications that something is going on in the uterus that is causing that heavy bleeding and very large discomfort. So just know it's never just a bad period. Yes. Check that out. Get an ultrasound and check that out. So you always had, let's go back. You always had bad periods. You got your, because what we do is we get our stuff to deal with our period. We get our extra maxi pads. We get our heating pads.
As I mentioned, I'm on my cycle now. You see these?
Yeah, we get our stuff. We get our stuff.
Yeah, we have everything.
Exactly. So what happened? What going back, what happened in terms of those bad periods?
Yeah, I would just be, it would put me out. Like I would sleep. I would be bent over. I would just not want to go to school, not go to work. And, some people look at it as embarrassing. I'm not going to tell my boss. I would call, and I had most of my directors or at most of my jobs, they were always men. And I'm like, hey, I don't know if you have any daughters, but this is what's going on. And so they knew, okay, they knew my schedule,
right?
My cycle, because they knew that they would get that call where I would not be able to come in. And so I want to, because as you mentioned, sometimes we normalize these cramps. And that's what I did for so many years. And I remember 2 instances, but I want to talk about this one where I was on a train. I'm from Philly, if we have any Philly people. I was on a train, end up in Fern Rock. And yeah, that's a real place, but Fern Rock, a real area. And I remember saying to the train conductor, is there a bathroom I can go to? Because I am in a lot of pain. And so he said, yes, you can go to a bathroom. So I go in, it's a public restroom, and I'm there for a minute, to the point where the police were called on me. They were like, what's going on in this bathroom?
When you say a minute, you mean you were in this bathroom for almost an hour, right?
Yes. I mean,
you're in pain, you're bleeding, and you are in pain, and you cannot physically get yourself back on a train or leave this bathroom because everything is just continuously happening, right?
Yes. So I'm in bad shape, and I hear this knock, and it says, hey, I'm in the bathroom. And the police, the guy said, hey, it's the police, you need to come out. I'm like, for what? I'm using the bathroom. And they came in, they allowed me to get myself together. And I said, listen, guys, I don't know what you think, but I have really bad cramps. I need to go home. They said, we can do 2 things. We can take you to jail, or we can take you to a hospital. I was like, oh, absolutely not. I don't need to go to a hospital, and I don't need to go to jail.
Because we're normalizing.
Yeah.
Like, this is my period. I have bad periods. I have bad cramps. Even though you've been in a bathroom, a public bathroom, for 45 minutes.
Yes.
Totally not able to really function. It's like, I don't need to go to the hospital. I
Yeah,
need to
I'm
go
fine.
home. I'm fine because we've normalized it, right? So,
Hmm.
and this is crazy because the cops were called because a woman is in the bathroom.
Yes. So I convinced these police officers to take me home. And legally, they said, we really cannot do this. But when I tell you, I was like, look, guys, I need you to take me home. I'm at the end of the train line. Just I live a few blocks away. And so somehow I convinced these officers to take me home. But they said, hey, we need your phone number because we're going to check on you. We want to make sure that you're not, a drug addict or something like that and you overdose or whatever. And they called me every hour. Hey, are you okay? Don't tell anyone we gave you a ride home, but are you okay? And that was just a story that I would share with people like, girl, my cramps are so bad that the police had to take me home one day. My cramps are so bad. And I was a reporter in a small town during the beginning of my career in Greenwood, Mississippi, that my boss one day had to come get me from work. I was on a story and she carried me home, like drove
Wow.
me to my apartment and carried me up the steps because I would get cramps so bad it would knock me off my feet
And
majority of
this
the
is
time.
this is what I want to say to all of those people that have, because fibroids are, unfortunately, Black women specifically get fibroids almost 3 times more likely to get them than their white counterparts. Fibroids are very prevalent. And like Nichelle said, it can start off as a lentil, it can grow to the size of a melon, of, sometimes women will experience, like you said, having trouble losing a pouch and they don't know that's not a pouch. You didn't eat too many potato chips. That's the fibroids pushing out. And so to the point of your story, when you said, I would tell people, girl, my cramps were so bad, I was locked in
Yeah.
the bathroom. My cramps were so bad. Y'all, if you hear a woman say that to you and you think she may not know that there's an underlying condition going on, send her the link to this live. Tell her, have you ever gotten checked for fibroids? Because what we need to do is not keep these conversations in, because
Mm-hmm.
women are still normalizing bad cramps, bad periods. Girl, y'all know, because what that was going on for Nichelle was fibroids.
Yes. I
And you
had no
just
idea.
didn't know. She had no idea. So now
Mm-hmm.
we're in the know. Okay, so continue. So fast forward a little bit to now hearing that, with the IVF, that you have to stop for fibroids.
Yeah. So, I know that 2021 is going to be a great year, and I am going to continue and move forward with my IVF treatments, and as soon as the surgery is performed. So, as soon as I get the surgery, hopefully maybe February or March, April, I'll move forward and I'll have a baby bump to share with everyone. And because I want people to just, feel hope. I'm sorry for the tears, and I know you guys are going to say it's okay.
Don't
And yes,
apologize. Do not apologize. Y'all give her hearts because she needs to be reminded. And you know what? That's okay. We're just going to
yeah,
continue to remind you that your tears are watering the seeds of your tomorrow, and they are
hmm,
blessing us, and they are a gift. And this is a safe space to do so. It's a
yeah,
safe space to do so. And I hope, as you bless us with this information, that you are feeling blessed by letting this out, because your
yeah,
body is already thanking you. It's
yes.
already thanking you for allowing this release to happen. You
It's like
know,
weight lifted off my shoulders, seriously.
people are
And because
telling me here, they're saying, yes, it is this year, sis. Photo session already on deck. You're getting a bunch of hearts. Black women in
yeah,
fertility say, girl, we are with you. Um, uh, People are talking about having gone through a myomectomy. For those that don't know, a myomectomy is a surgery, that will remove fibroids. There are many different procedures. Sometimes they can do something, where they cut off the blood supply and they may not have to go in surgically. There's embolizations that can
yeah,
happen. There's different
hmm,
things depending upon where the fibroids are located in the body. and how big they are. Okay. So, and just so you guys know, because as you went through these bad periods, estrogen feeds the fibroids. Estrogen feeds the fibroids, y'all. So the different things, so people are saying that they had, I just wanted you to know all of this. People are saying, let's see, Harrisol79 says she's on week 2 of recovery of her 3rd myomectomy.
Oh,
We
wow.
bless you.
Yes.
We bless you. Recover
Yes.
well. Recover well.
Yes.
Shella Will 2 says, yes, you are a blessing. Sweet,
Yes.
sweet travel. Girl, child, y'all,
No.
I don't got my glasses on. That sweet trackled, scheduling my 2nd surgery next week. And so the reason that people are talking about a 3rd surgery or a 2nd surgery of a myomectomy is because fibroids are known to come back, y'all. They're known to come back within 5 years. If this is your first time on Warrior Wednesdays, then you need to continue to watch, because Dr. Cindy Duke, MD, PhD, FAOCG,
Yes, we love her.
who is a wonderful mocha doctor, because she calls her women of color patients mocha patients, which we love. She is our warrior doctor. So she comes on about once a month to talk to us and tell us about all of the things that we need to know. She's basically the best 2nd, 3rd, 4th opinion you're ever going to have. So she has let us know that fibroids come back within 5 years. Somebody's saying, I'm having surgery tomorrow to remove a fibroid scar tissue in the uterus. That's Mrs. Keybugs. Sherry Lovell says, I had the surgery and got pregnant in 6 months.
Yes, I think I know her.
Come on with that testimony so Nichelle can know. Yes. Sherry Lovell, we love it. So make sure you guys continue to tell Nichelle all of these things that she's going to need to know. D6167 NYC says the surgery is going to do it for you, sis. You better take this love, ma'am.
Yes.
Take this love. But go ahead. I didn't want to cut you off, but I did want to cut you off because I wanted to let you hear all of the things that people were writing that I was seeing.
Yes.
So what did you want to make sure we know?
So I want you all to know that check out Resolve if you are dealing with any type of fertility challenge, and because support is necessary. As you all know, just seeing your comments, it's strengthening my spirit. It's strengthening me, because some days when I think, oh, I'm good, I'm smiling. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
And so I just want, if you've heard of Resolve, if you haven't heard, check them out at resolve.org. Check out ncbw.org and check out Her Normal, because, so again, I started off this website as a joke. Give me a ring and a baby. My girlfriend is looking for a ring. I'm looking for the baby. Eventually I said to myself, listen, I'm writing too many depressing stories and I want to be happy. And it looks like happiness is a choice, and I have to choose to be happy.
Ooh, I'm so glad you said that. That ain't nothing but a word. Happiness is a choice, and you wanted to choose to be happy.
Mm-hmm. So I decided to embrace my normal, to not get depressed when someone says, what, you're married, you don't have any children? Instead, I'm like, yes, I'm married, and I'm still traveling, and I'm still doing this, and I'm still doing that. Not that you can't travel with children, but you get the point, right?
Yes.
And so I just transitioned the site from Give Me a Ring and a Baby to Her Normal, to encourage women who are single, to encourage women who are childless. I created this thing called the Infertility Awareness Lookbook. And I just encourage some women to just to check it out, because there you'll learn about fibroids and a number of different things. It's a lookbook to just educate you on, like the adult photo book, to educate women on their body, because it took me many years to learn about my reproductive system. I was like, what? It's only a small percentage, a small chance that you can actually get pregnant. Right. 1 or 2 days in a month that you can get pregnant. I'm like, wow, these women are really they're hitting the jackpot. So I'm trying for that day to just keeping track of my ovulation, saying, okay, this might be the day, honey, let's try. But no, it's just an education piece, an educational tool to help women really learn about their bodies. And then for the women who are just still trying to figure out, when am I going to get married? When am I going to have this? And just empowerment, and just a fun way to just invite some light into your life while you go through a season of waiting.
And what I love about this, and I just want to make sure that I get this in before we wrap it up, because what I love about this, you guys, and I hope that you can hear me in this perspective, is that Nichelle is still on the journey. And I am still on the journey. And both of us, and it's not just because we from Philly, y'all, even though that adds an extra little sauce, but both of us decided or felt purposeful to pour into the community of women and men in the fertility and infertility space, while we are still crying tears, while we are still looking for a husband and a baby, while we still have questions and procedures to get done and tests to do and doctor's appointments next week, we felt that the need to be a part of the community would help us feel whole while we take these steps. And so this Warrior Wednesday experience that we are in every Wednesday is not a shock to God. It's a shock to me.
Yeah.
I didn't freeze my eggs to then have a platform to talk to people about fertility. That's not why I went into the fertility clinic, y'all. I never considered talking to y'all about nothing. I just wanted to preserve my fertility. But when something doesn't happen the way you thought it would, what are you going to do? Are you going to lay down and take it and allow it to take your spirit, your heart, your joy? Or are you going to find a way to take that energy and go, what's next, God? What is my purpose? And put me in this. And that's what you've done, Nichelle, is that you said, I looked for resolve. I created hernormal.com. You guys, if you can see that, it's amazing. It's filled with information. It's filled with places for you to learn. And so what you did is you dove like right into the community. Sometimes we say in the infertility world, it's the worst club, best members.
Yes,
right?
Because I've met some amazing women. Siobhan Coney from Black Women in Infertility. I just have met Dr. Jerisa Berry, just so many women.
I mean, your future baby got so many aunties. It's crazy. Yes.
Yes. And I guess what I want to share too is, so I joined these different organizations to advocate for us, advocate for women who are suffering in silence. What I've learned is that because of women like some of you who are on this line who are advocating now, 16 states in this country now offer coverage for fertility treatments, including Delaware. And that's where I am now. I'm a Philly girl, but yes, I'm living in Delaware, where our president is from right now. So I just want to encourage you, like, while you may think you cannot do anything, you can write to your legislators, you can talk with your legislators, you can just do what you can to push for legislative change. You have a voice, and it's taken me some years to figure out that I have a voice, but I do just as much. And so 16 states, and just to name a few: California, Maryland, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Arkansas, So there are some states, just look them up and just join the cause to push for legislative change, because IVF is expensive. That was why some years ago, 6 years ago, I did not choose IVF. The reality is I couldn't afford it. It was just too much money. And although my parents were like, oh, Nikki, that's my nickname, by the way, we can help, I just said, no, I feel like I'm going to owe people to the day I die. I'm still paying student loans. So no, thank you. And, but now, because of the determined and strong women in the state of Delaware, I can benefit from coverage where the state absorbs most of the costs.
Amen to that. And we need to continue to push for legislation. I am on your side. Whatever I can do, you let me know so that I can get involved in that way. And I know I'm going to talk to you after this live, and we're going to do that. And also, you guys, because of the things that Nichelle just said, it popped into my head to mention, because IVF is expensive, because freezing eggs is expensive, and oftentimes women may stop themselves from doing something because of the cost and absorbing it. You guys, we are women, which means we are the most, we are Stacey Abrams, okay? We are the most resourceful creatures that there are. I often tell women that are going, well, I don't have the money to freeze my eggs. As we talked about normalizing things, I often say to them, throw yourself an egg shower. The way that you got invitation after invitation to a baby shower, you can throw yourself an egg shower and have your little sandwiches, have your little refreshments, play your little games, and the gift registry can be paypal.com, venmo.com. We need to normalize, because what happens is people get celebrated when they get married. They get celebrated when they have a baby. Well, what happens to, as your website was started, Give Me a Ring and a Baby, what happens to the people that have not gotten married yet, or don't want to get married at all, or have not been able to conceive yet? We don't get celebrated. Nobody throws us a shower. Let me tell you about normalizing something, y'all. We have to normalize it for ourselves. And as I always say, leave no egg behind. If you have a friend, a sister, a coworker that wants to freeze eggs, wants to do IVF, and doesn't have the money to do so, you throw her a shower.
Yeah.
You step into that space and say, hey, we may not raise all the money, but if I can give you a little bit of something and stand in agreement for you to get the assistance that you need, let's make that a thing. Maybe we need to call Hallmark and tell them to start creating cards for egg showers, for IVF showers, because the same way we need to change legislation, we got to change our mind too. So I just wanted to impart that on y'all, because there's always something you can do. Always something you can do. You agree, Nichelle?
One of the things that I wanted to do, and I guess I needed it more than anyone, is when I do feel sometimes down, I always tell everyone, and even myself, to close my eyes. And for those of you who are still on the line, close your eyes and just take your hand and place it right on your chest and just feel your heartbeat, and just be reminded that you have purpose. I have purpose, and I'm going to stand in my truth. And so I just thank all of you. I thank you, Kelly. I thank you, this community, my friends, that having a support system, a strong one, people to sow into you, speak life into you, is so necessary. And so I just want to encourage you to continue having this Warrior Wednesday, because we need it. I'm tuned in. I love Dr. Cindy Duke. I am still on Lynn's story from a week ago, in Dontera.
Yes.
And everyone else. And I as I've mentioned, I had no plans to get teary-eyed for a number of reasons. I just, like I said, I don't share. I don't open up like that. But I didn't want to mess up my eyeliner.
I mean, hey, because we cute, okay?
Yes. So, but I just want to encourage you, and I pray that just as God will bless my wound and bless my reproductive system and bless my husband, I pray that he does the same for each and every woman. And I don't want to forget the women who are struggling with secondary infertility.
Amen
They
to
have
that.
children, but then they want another one. And so I just want to put that out there.
Yes.
Let's be mindful. Let's not look at those women as if you're ungrateful, but I'm going to sow into those women as well.
Yes.
Whether you have a child, 2 or 3, but you have that desire to be blessed as well. So thank you.
Oh, I thank you so much. You brought up so many beautiful things. You guys have learned more about IUI. You've heard about fibroids. You've heard about secondary infertility, which we haven't covered yet on Warrior Wednesday. But most importantly, what everybody on this live did is that you created a safe space for Nichelle to be Nichelle. And I'm grateful for that. So thank you to all of you, and to Nichelle, my friend, my Philly sister, my fellow warrior. I just want to say to you, I stand in full agreement of every decision God deposits into your spirit moving forward towards the baby that you will swaddle in that blanket that you showed us. And I want you to know that you now have all of these people that will see this, that will pass it on, praying for you, wishing for you, having the vision for you, and standing in agreement with your journey. Thank you. Thank you for doing what you may not have wanted to do on the phone last night. Okay, and for standing in your truth by knowing the only way to help somebody else is to let it out. And I honor, I don't take it lightly what it takes to share. None of us do, but that's what this is for. And we can't wait, like you said, in the future to be on a Warrior Wednesday live and to have you back. And one of those times when you're back, you're going to have that little baby with you. And we're going to be talking about, remember that time that I didn't want to cry? And then that baby's going to start hollering and crying. Okay. So you have sowed so many of our seeds and watered our hearts. You guys, I want you to go to hernormal.com. I want you to follow Nichelle Polston. I want you to follow Her Normal. I want you to send her DMs of encouragement or any thoughts that you have, so that she can look back on this moment and remember this day of letting it out. And so you guys, thank you. Somebody is saying, I was told at 32 because of a tumor on my pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is here, you guys, in your brain, that I cannot have children. 45 now and still blessed and praying for my sister, still in the fight. From Philly with love, and we are praying for you.
I'm
we have
40.
So many.
Well, I'm 41, and the world tells us that no, your time is over. But this is not.
Sometimes it's just beginning. Sometimes it's just beginning. Having this knowledge, knowing the steps to take, being here. People are saying, "I'm so proud of you, Nikki." I am as well. They're saying, "Yes, Nichelle." They're giving you hearts. You guys, we're thinking of you. We're praying for you. DM Nichelle, DM me if you need me. I'm here for you guys. Happy Warrior Wednesday again. Super happy Georgia Warrior Wednesday. Nichelle Polston, we thank you. We love you. And will you come back with us one day?
Yes, I will.
We got her back, y'all. Okay, you guys, send some more hearts her way. And Nichelle, thank you so much for being a part of this. I really appreciate and love you. All right, my love.
Love you too.
All right, baby. Talk soon. You guys, as I usually shed a tear or two on Warrior Wednesday, as you know. But I shed a bunch more because I'm so proud and blessed that Nichelle spoke so much from her heart. And she's right. I call the women that I speak to beforehand and ask them what they're comfortable with, because we have to do things at our own pace and in our own time. And what today's Warrior Wednesday taught me is that that time is now. It's now for her. And she's letting that out and sharing all of this stuff with you guys. And I'm standing in agreement that everything will be well. And before she knows it, that baby will be in her belly. So continue to send prayers to her and to yourself. Get involved with legislation. As Nichelle said, look up Her Normal, look up resolve.org, the National Infertility Association. Get involved with your state. Get involved with all of these places, you guys. I am going to get involved with Mama Stew's fried fish and grits and enjoy the rest of my day because I'm now so full. I paused, y'all. That was Nichelle calling me because we about to chat it up while I eat. Like I said, I'm going to get involved with some fried fish and some grits. You guys, thank you so much for being here on Warrior Wednesday. Next week, we have Miss Danielle Brooks. You might know her from Orange is the New Black, amongst other things. She's just got done filming playing Mahalia Jackson. So look up Danielle Brooks because she is going to be on talking about an emergency C-section that she experienced giving birth to her now beautiful, gorgeous chocolate daughter. But she's going to be here on January the 13th to talk to you guys on Warrior Wednesday. And then after that, we have Nichelle Sublet, who is Mrs. North Carolina, and she's going to be talking to you about her many IVF tries, miscarriages, and finally her baby boy that she now holds in her arms. So there's a lot to do here in January. Happy 2021, y'all. I love y'all, warriors, and I will see you next time. All right, bye.